Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
everyone.
everyone.
Good morning, everyone. I said it first. I was the first person to say good morning, everyone.
No, he was chewing as usual.
I was not
Good
chewing because
morning,
you're not
morning,
supposed to be
morning,
chewing
good
them.
morning,
Good,
CC.
Good
good
morning,
morning,
Gina
Rosanna, Diana,
Lee.
Anna. Gina Lee got that paparazzi on, girl. Look like you dressed up, get ready to go to the prom, girl. I like that. What piece is that? What number pieces that you got on now?
I haven't given it a number yet.
All right, y'all. Good morning, everybody.
Good
We're
morning,
always still
BB.
we're always excited on Thursday following Wednesday's spotlight on small black businesses or small businesses presentation from Gina Lee, Rosanna, Dan, and I call them, and my wife Cece, our engineer. They always have an awesome show, and it's funny to me because, like I'm saying, we just came from dinner. We go to dinner every 2 weeks. Came from dinner, and Cece got, I think she spent like $50, $60 with Gina. She got a whole bag full of jewelry.
Good morning, Renee.
Good morning, Renee. Literally, literally a bag full of jewelry. And it's so
So,
funny to me. It's so funny to me that she comes home with this paparazzi. I go off and tell y'all, I don't claim broke, I don't wear broke. And if it ever sounds like I'm bragging on my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, it's because I am. Gino probably cry, something like that. She always clap her hands, but I always make sure that I keep my story out there. I'm an ex drug dealing, West Baltimore, dope fiend, crack addict, alcoholic, jailbird thug. One more time. Party Marty that you see before you. Government name is Maurice Tate because I ain't hiding nothing. I don't have no more court dates. I ain't on probation or parole anymore for the first time in my life since I was 15. I'm the ex drug dealing, drug addict, dope fiend, crack addict, alcoholic, West Baltimore jailbird thug. I tell my story, y'all. Please don't give up on your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your nephews, your nieces, and stuff before the miracle happens. Don't give up on them. Shout out to Carol Turner, who rest in peace, is gone and stuff like that, who never gave up on me, to play a big part in my story, always being there, bailing me out and stuff like that. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to be Carol. You don't have to be the person with the wallet to get a person out. But if you just somebody with this, ear. If you somebody with this, ear, because everybody in their life, they got 1,000 of these people with a mouth, persons telling us what we doing wrong and all that kind of stuff. If you somebody one time with this, like Gina, a big heart, it always tells you, hang in there, you'll get it done. You're all right. You got to go to the NA meeting. I'll ride with you. I mean, what part do you play in a person's well-being? We're going to talk about that later on today when Doc gets in. Dr. Sutton, ex drug dealing thug, now has a PhD. Dr. Ted Sutton, as part of our show, will be in a minute. So just find out what part you like to play in somebody's story. Or are you going to be like me, the story? I ain't play a part in nobody's story. I was the story. Everybody played a part in mine. And I want y'all to say this too to yourself. Because you hung in there, because you played a part in mine, because you prayed for me, because you listened at me, Cece is a better person. Cece got her a husband. And Cece description of me is always the same. What's your description of me, Cece?
my good husband.
My
Best
good
husband
husband.
in the world.
Best husband in the world.
I love it. I
Talking
love it. I
about
love it.
talking about me, y'all. Talking about me.
Mm.
I weighed 131 pounds with a 29 waist, hooked on dope, coke, ready, and alcohol, sitting over
Mm.
there in the godforsaken prisons, waiting on my court date with attempt murder.
Mm.
Don't tell me that God don't allow U-turns. And now I got a lovely home, got a lot of toys, got a bad young wife with a great income. I'm retired from the state of Maryland. My wife's retired from the state of Maryland. I'm collecting my Social Security. I got 6 or 7, Gino, let y'all know, jobs on the podcast. You know what I mean? So if you want to hear me about a miracle, you're looking at one. You ain't got to hear about the parting of the Red Sea. Ain't only miracle ain't there getting the blind to see. Only miracle out here ain't touching the hem of the Lord. You're looking at a miracle. We pray, y'all, that you don't give up on us before the miracle happens. All right, y'all. I sometimes throw my story out there because you never know who needs to hear it.
There you go.
You never know
Absolutely.
who needs to hear it. You never know. Gina tells her story out there. Be careful what you pray for. It might come true. Gina found her soulmate, the person that she was just knew she would love for the rest of her life. Somebody that was witty, that was funny, that was smart, that was there, that loved her. That loved her. You know what I mean? And he got sickly for a while, and she spent all that time. If Gina cares about people the way she cares about, if Gina, you know how she cares about people. You know how thoughtful she is. How she drives her nephews and stuff to summer school and to camp and all that kind of stuff. You know what time she probably put into her man that she loved. You know she had to hand him pills. You know he was sickly sometimes. She had to make sure that he took his medicine. My wife used to stick me all the time with that darn. I was so sick. If anybody else ever have thick finger sticks because they was a diabetic, my finger was just like a darn pincushion. The tip of my finger hurt so bad from getting stuck all the time. My wife used to stick me to take that. Man, I used to feel so bad. And then my wife used to say, baby, you okay? At the same time, she was sticking because she knows she needed it. It's hard on people that's taking care of you when you're sick. Gina Lee was prayed that her mate for life stop going through this pain. She prayed that her mate for life stop going through this pain. What was your prayer, Gina Lee? What was your prayer for your friend?
I just wanted his pain to go away. And
tell him
God
about,
answered my prayer.
and that was what?
Little did I know he answered my prayer.
You feel me? She prayed that. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Doc.
Morning.
We're talking about your topic right here, Doc. We're gonna get to you in a minute. So Gina prayed for that pain to go away, and God took that pain away, but He took her into some sorrow for a while because He took him. God took him. She cries all the time. Anytime you bring this topic up, she's gonna cry now. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I didn't know him, was never in his presence, anything like that. And I cry. I cry for people with a good heart. I cry for situations and circumstances. My wife once told me, Dr. Ted, that, yeah, you know, I wish I would have met you sooner. You know, we would have more. No, we wouldn't. Because you'd have met me when I was a skunk, Ted. She wouldn't have been with me. Ted tells the story, said that his wife stayed there after she met him while he was out walking pit bulls, jumping out cars at the red light, going to pull a wonderful man out of his car and beat him. And then what he say, y'all? What he say, Gina? He didn't get out the car for some reason. Why? I don't know. How about because you 6'4", you weigh about 200 some pounds, and you's crazy Ted, and probably had a shotgun on you. Probably had that sawed-off shotgun. No matter of fact, ain't no probably had it. I think Ted put that shotgun on when he put his pants on. we knew Dr. Crazy Ted. We called him Crazy Ted. I knew him and everything like that, but I wasn't in the circle. But I gotta tell y'all, there's levels to this stuff in life. I'm West Baltimore Party Marty. I'm out there, Jack. My name was ringing in them streets. I wasn't no chump. I was a thug. Everybody knew Party Marty was West Baltimore Party Marty, but I wasn't on the line with Crazy Ted. I wasn't on the line with Liddy Jones. I wasn't on the line with Lil Melvin. I wasn't on the line with Bernard King. You know what I mean? I wasn't on the line with you know what I mean? Dennis Wise, no matter how you are, you still had levels. Even me, as tough as I was, we had levels. So sometimes I bring this home. People, don't you realize that sometimes the best level to be on is you? You on a whole nother level. Gina's on a whole nother level. She's the one that picks her nephew up and takes him for rides and sits outside of his daycare or camp and wait till he gets out every day. That's another level. Carol Turner, that's another level, who's always praying that somebody's okay and pay my bail. That's another level. Karen Cunningham, who donates to everything, who spends money on every situation and circumstance, pays for everybody to go to lunch to see Harriet Tubman. Karen Cunningham, Miss Taylor, is on another level. BB, the #1 fan, is on another level. It's on another level. Sure, you may see me and Dr. Ted where we got and all that kind of stuff. CC, that saves the world, that doesn't have a degree in anything. There's as they did that commercial with about President George Washington. They asked him about, it was a commercial they did. They said, well, George, he was in the classroom. He said, well, George, what is it that you can help us with today? I mean, what is your education? Where did you go in school? What is your education level? He said, well, I really don't have a degree in anything, but I did a lot of reading and studying, sort of on my own. I did a lot of reading and studying, sort of on my own. Sleep on my wife, Cece, Nature Secrets owner, engineer of Simply Us podcast, if you want to. Ain't got a degree or nothing. Sleep on her if you want to. She does a lot of reading and studying, sort of on her own. So shout out to everybody out there in podcast land that's a hero. Everybody out there in podcast land that has a degree that does not have a piece of paper that's tied to it. Everybody out there in podcast land that takes time to pray for us. Pastor Rhonda, who has the paparazzi pop up so somebody could display their beads, so Jenny can sell our products, so we can have our wares, so the two persons that are going to be on our show again can talk about that. Always opening her home to everybody, who prays for everybody, who buys all the product, who buys the baskets from me. Shout out to Pastor Rhonda for letting everybody into their life. Just shout out to y'all. We want to make sure that everybody knows that y'all are heroes. But we want to make sure that you know that you're a hero. You know. Tell them. Gina Lee's report the other day was on Post 19. I got to talk about my mother, the late, great Catherine Tate. Oh, great individual. The oldest, last surviving member of the Wax and Waves to go to war was my mother, the late, great Catherine Tate. A hero. A lady of small stature, 5 foot tall. You would never know it. Sometimes, you know what they also call her? That's Catherine Tate, the mother of them bad boys. That's her bad sons, Black Purdy, Arnie Barney, West Baltimore Party Marty. You know what I mean? That's her mother, got them bad boys. Well, when the police used to come in the neighborhood back in the day, they had squad cars, them penny wagons, way up in the age. When the police would ride up in the neighborhood and they was on their way to somebody's house, like Cookie do CC, the neighborhood would run ahead of the police cars. They know where they was going. They was going to 1223 North Bentlow. They was coming to our house. We done something. We done something. One of us, hey, Ted, we done something. Black Purdy, Party, Arnie Barney, Juice Pop, one of us, we done something. Somebody had got a beating fooling with us. Something had happened. One last thing before I bring this home, I always like to tell this story. My mother once told me, I waited all this time to get my lever. Got my lever from Diplomat. Diplomat, that's where it's at. Diplomat. Mother went and got that level for me, Jack, for Christmas, man. You know we look through all the closets and stuff and under the bed every Christmas. Y'all know that. Find your toys, find your shit. We knew what I was getting for Christmas already. We found them. How many closets you got in the house could they hide in? Our parents went to work, Dr. Ted and Gina, remember? They went to work. We had all day. Me and my 5 brothers looking around, find out Christmas stuff. I found my leather. My mother told me. I came over there, had my leather coat on, had my alpaca knits, you know what I mean? Had on my Nehru jacket, you know what I mean? Had them hush puppies and stuff. I'm going down Lafayette Bowl now. Show off my leather coat. Just now got my coat for Christmas. I'm over there, get ready to put I got my coat on, get ready to leave. All right, y'all, get ready to go. All right, Mom. My mother said, Maurice, where you going? My brother Purdy, he agitated. Where you going? I'm going down to the bowling alley, Mama. You know what I mean? I'll be right back. She said, don't go down the bowling alley with that coat on, my brother Black Purdy. Don't go down the bowling alley with that coat on. I said, why? She said, them boys down there is taking people's coats. You know they stealing people's coats at the bowling alley. Purdy said, yeah, they down there stealing people's coats at the bowling alley. Don't wear that coat down the bowling alley. I instantly bust out crying. About 15. Wear my coat down the bowling alley. First, she told my mother told me, and here's what they always tell you, Gina, shut that noise up before I give you something to cry for. You gave me something to cry for. You told me I couldn't wear my coat. Don't wear that coat down there. Them bad boys stealing coats. Ain't this some shit? You go upstairs and look under the bed, you'll find all them coats. Them bad boys are stealing the coats. Is your sons. Your badass sons. They the neighborhood criminals. They the ones that broke in the truck at Acme. They the ones that took everybody's coat. You want to buy an ounce of weed? Buy it from your sons. Always have been talking about, go, don't you take that coat off for them bad boys. Take your coat. Purcell Reed, he echo her. Take that coat off. Don't go down there for them bad boys. Take your coat. Ain't this some shit? I got 5 big brothers. Who gonna take something from me, Ted? Gene, who gonna take something from me? And I'm Arnie Bonnie Black Purdy's brother. Who gonna take something from me? Got a death wish. You want to find those darn coats that they stealing at the bowling alley? Go upstairs, look underneath of your son's beds. That's where them coats is. Your sons is the neighborhood criminals, thieves. Run, tell that now to bring it home. Gina gave me a chance to make sure to let you know that's not the only thing my mother was, the mother of these bad boys. She was also my mother. Listen at this, drum roll, please. My mother was my Boy Scout troop leader. I want you to hear this again. My mother was the neighborhood Boy Scout troop leader. My mother. My mother was the neighborhood Boy Scout troop leader. My mother was the oldest surviving member of the Waxing Waves, the first set of women to go to war. My mother. So my mother's not only the mother of the bad boys that's taking people coats and stuff. She's also an awesome individual, and she will never lose her position of being the granddaughter ruler, the president of the Elks Home, the president of Post 19. She'll never lose that. Y'all, tell somebody that you're proud of them that doesn't know that they are to be saluted. Tell somebody you're proud of them that they don't know they need to be saluted. Let's start prayer, y'all. Father God, thank you for the wonderful things that's going on in all our lives. Father God, thank you for the podcast. Father God, thank you for being able to allow me to reiterate by posting some of these stories and stuff about people that need to be saluted. Father God, we always pray for everybody over there fighting them God-forsaken wars. Losing mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncle, cousins, losing limbs, losing eyes, losing their wives and husbands and families to being away for so long. Father God, we always pray for everybody over there dealing with this God-forsaken pandemic. Father God, anybody that's not getting the shots and stuff, please hold them still. Put the needle in their arm. Father God, good big cuz Helen teaches us one thing, that all we need is God's grace and mercy to get us through the day. If he's given us grace and mercy, that's enough. Gina Lee tells us a story to make sure to pray for the world. Gina Lee says we're right now, y'all, living in biblical days. The coldest region in the world is housing the largest wildfire on earth. The coldest region in the world is housing the largest wildfire on earth. Wow. Moment of silence, please. Amen.
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 Everybody gets something different out of these podcasts. I get something different out of it too. Y'all may not know it, but the panel is just as great on the things that we get as y'all are. CC, do me a favor, ask Kevin to bring out, give him the keys to your truck and ask him to bring that jug that we got from the fish store in too.
Okay.
Bring this one downstairs. Okay, y'all. Y'all know we call ourselves Simply Us. It's a podcast where we talk a little bit about everything. It's not a black show, a white show. It's an informative show. We have a few topics. Gina Lee is our historian that talks about modern events. CC is our engineer, and she talks about current events. Dr. Ted Sutton, once again, is a doctor. I'm not calling him that as a nickname. He has a PhD. Anybody with a PhD goes under the title of doctor. Whether you call him that or not, whether he makes a big deal about it or not, you're looking at a doctor. Just because he's not wonderful with a stethoscope around his neck, talking to you any kind of way and being too arrogant to even answer when you speak, he has that same credentials as a PhD as everybody else that you see, the wonderful people. So we understand that. We're going to start the topic off. We're going to start our show off today with Dr. Ted. Our formats will be changing, y'all, so that we know Dr. Ted will honor us now whenever we do our podcast. He'll be going first. Dr. Ted has a lot of things that he talks about, but he has a lot of things that he's going. Gina makes a big deal about this. Gina always says that Dr. Ted is not just saving Baltimore, not just saving the surrounding areas. Gina said he saves the world. You know, they don't fly you out to Hawaii. If you're not gonna make a difference, don't fly you out to those third world countries, Haiti, if you're not out there trying to make a difference. First of all, it's scary. And I want y'all to know something else. I go to Hawaii. If you fly me out there in podcast land, you want me to speak, you will send me to Hawaii. Give me a ticket. Let me know. I'll talk well. I don't have the credentials of Dr. Ted there, but I can talk. But I ain't no chump, but I ain't going up New York in the boroughs and speak at no gang rally. I ain't doing it. I ain't going to Haiti. I ain't doing it. I ain't going to Afghanistan. I ain't doing it. I know how afraid I was when we marched in Men Against Murder. I did that one time with Dr. Ted. I played it off. I'm out there with you now, though, Doc. But I did that one time, and morning, young lady. I did that one time, and halfway through, I was talking, yeah, but I found my chance to get out of there. I got out of there because it was scary.
Well, I was happy to see you, brother.
Yeah.
For a short period of time, I was happy.
It was scary. You know what I mean? And plus, it's time consuming. It's a commitment. But therefore, in lies my topic that I want to talk about, because I have two views on this.
Mm-hmm.
I want Doc to talk about, and he commented on this, the Border Patrol over there when they were on horseback, directing the person's back across our borders. Now we have different opinions on this topic. I'm gonna give you mine real quick, and then I'm gonna get Doc's. First of all, my opinion is, I felt as though we should withdraw. I didn't say we left the war over there in Afghanistan. We withdrew our troops. We ain't leave no war that we wasn't fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we was not fighting that war. We were aiding, assisting somebody over there that didn't aid and assist itself. So we finally got out of that 2-decade war, that 20 years of fighting. So now we are talking about, let's let all the Haitians over here, or whatever exactly their their name would be, what would they be called? Did I get that right? Because you can't call Mexicans and stuff like that. What would they be called, y'all?
Haitian.
Haitians. Okay, I got that right. You don't know. Sometimes you want to be politically correct. I'm learning a lot on this show. So I mean, shout out to my buddy who's of African descent that works with me, Collins. They was over there looking. He said, but y'all don't understand. You're talking about a country that's over there, not a country that's back where they are. It's a country at that border. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of them that's gonna come over here if you just allow it. It's thousands of them that's gonna come over here. You're gonna lose some jobs. They're gonna go over and give them some money. They're gonna get some food stamps. They're gonna get their way in here. It's gonna be affected to you. You may or may not know it. And once again, these podcasts are so we can give opinions. My opinion and stuff like that is whatever you had to do to stop them, I say stop them. It's not the popular opinion. Gina always says it. You know what I mean? I won't have the popular opinion. I'm going to play devil's advocate, but I have an opinion. I don't agree with a lot of Gina's opinion, but she has her opinion and she voices it. I ride horses for a living. I was an Arab. Shout out Sticky Blue. I was an Arab. I'm an avid horse rider. Gina is a horse rider. Every Sunday, Gina, right? At that swimming pool, we went out every Sunday to Fort Smallwood. Not most Sundays, not a lot of Sundays. Every Sunday, all of us that worked at that pool went out there and rode them horses every Sunday. Gina rides horses like the rest of us. I can ride horses named us. Yeah. Real talk. Midnight and whiskey and them, yeah. So we're avid horse riders. So we were taught to protect the horse like your car, like yourself. That is your vehicle. You know what I mean? That I don't know how to tell you all this except come tell you the truth. I don't know how fond Gina is of her pets because she's had a pet that she lost. But everybody out there in podcast land, I'm praying for Tiffany Wiggins and Charles that they get back that dog. Cece talked about that again yesterday. We pray that dog returns to that lovely home that they had. But I want y'all to know out there in podcast land, if it ever happens to me and anybody else, I will literally, listen at me, look at me when I tell you this, I will literally kill you about my dog. Mm-hmm. And listen at me when I tell you this. I will literally murder you about my dog. I love my dog. I'm not playing about Cookie. I will literally, if you do something with malice in your heart, something vicious or something like that, or you driving too fast up and down the street and you hit my dog, you cannot apologize. I will not say anything. I will not cry. I'm going to go in that house and I'm going to get Ted's weapon of choice. It's my Remington sawed-off shotgun. The CC knows it. And I'm going to come out and I'm going to murder you. I'm not going to run off and hide and say my prayers, and I'm going on to jail about my dog. I'm not playing about my dog. There's people that's not playing about their horses. So a lot of when you see people over there, that you are designed to keep a person away from that horse. People think that the whip is just a gun, a whip so we can do this. You know, a whip is a weapon of choice. Now that segueing in the dock, I don't know what else to do when you're telling the person to go back. You can't cross the border. Go back. Go back. You don't stand there and tell them, I'm afraid that you go back. You don't tell them stop, be good. You got to force them back. Now, I saw that picture that they had them riding down, swinging at them with, with whips. Dr. Ted posted a really good picture. You need to follow this brother. You know what I mean? His name is Dr. Ted Sutton. He may just be under Ted Sutton. But if you're not his friend, tag him. Tag him. Dr. Ted, he doesn't just post stuff every day, but he posts some good stuff. He got a real good picture out there of these persons backing the Haitians back. And it says something to the nature of this was going on 100 years ago and it's still going on now. Now, I don't know if my opinion is the same as Dr. Sutton's, because I was going to do anything by any means to get them to go back across the border, because that's what I was paid for. CC and I We retired from the great Clifton T. Perkins, where patients kill you, right? See, literally,
Absolutely.
literally murder you. I ain't telling you going over there assaulting no patient, but you are literally is sometimes fighting for your life. Literally, they kill people. They kill doctors. They kill staff. They kill you. Out on the streets where Ted and I come from, you're literally fighting for your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're literally fighting for your life. Now the Haitians are trying to get over here because they want a better way of life. They will die getting over here. Gina said the people was pulling away from Afghanistan and hanging on the bottom of the planes. You could see dragging them. They wanted out of that place. They wanted out. So I don't know exactly what is it that they do to tell these people to stop. But Dr. Ted, I gave you my opinion. At all costs, if you got to get them stopped to come across that border, at all costs. So that's my opinion. Dr. Ted has his opinion on it, and I want to see how he speaks on it, having a PhD, but also being a street person and know that this is real life situation with people that are desperate. Before he starts, Doc, I want you to tell us one thing. What is the most dangerous criminal there is? Who?
A person with nothing to lose.
One more time, Doc.
A person with nothing to lose.
You're talking about a group of people that don't have anything to lose. Okay, Doc, give us your opinion on that situation that's going on over there.
And it's ironic you showed a picture because the picture that I had depicted, I showed a picture of a slave catcher on a horse cracking the whip on who they considered a slave, and I'm saying a POW, a person who was a prisoner of war, because we didn't start out slaves. We were kidnapped and then forced to try to work, and we weren't released. So I feel we were POWs, and so I don't always like to just say we started our history with slavery, because we didn't. But I think what bothers me.
Excuse me, one second before we go on any further. Another one, Gina. Another one, Cece. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Out there in podcast line.
And I agree.
This gentleman is a paid speaker for a reason. This gentleman, y'all, please follow Simply Us, but please follow Dr. Ted. I want him to give you that format again. He said that we were not always slaves. We were brought here. We were kidnapped. And what do you say your definition of us right now, Doc, as you put it is again? Listen, everybody. Listen. Go ahead, Doc.
When I said we were prisoners of war?
Yes.
Yes, we were POWs. It was we were forced, but they had no respect that we had a religion, that we had a family, that we were getting married and having children. And then now they could sell my child, could sell my wife, and have no regard to what was significant in my land and what and tried to depict us, as something that was less than. And that was so unfortunate for any race to do that. In fact, what I'm really bothered about is how in the school system, U.S. history is mandatory, but it starts Black history with slavery. And so it does not start with African history. I feel that one of the reasons why our children feel the need to have money and to have stuff and to have those Jordans when the first day of school, or those brand new fresh Timberlands, the first day of school, it has a lot to do with having a low self-esteem of who they are as far as knowing who they are. It has and it's so unfortunate that we have to have $300 LeBrons or we ain't going to school. I had a situation with a family I was working with in Latrobe Projects, and I felt so bad for the mother because the child was saying they not going to school unless they get some fresh Timberlands. Not going to school. And the mother fell for this this guilt trip. I call it a guilt trip because to me, you know, if you're able to turn that light switch on, you got lights. If you're able to open up a refrigerator and you got something in there, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
That's my job. Your job is to stay out of trouble and try to do what you're supposed to in school. That's your job. And he was just adamant he was not going to school. This mother fell for it. She bought him the Timberlands. Now check this out. Did not pay the gas and electric.
Wow.
They cut the gas and electric off. But she bought the Timberlands and somebody broke in his gym locker and stole them.
Gee.
So now he ain't got the Timberlands and they don't have no lights. You see, I told the mother, I said, you know what? I know what he did was wrong, but I have to blame you as being the adult.
Right.
Because you know what? I try to be friendly to my children, but I ain't their friend.
Right.
I ain't their homie. I told my child, it's my job to teach you for life without me when I'm not around.
Yes.
That's what my job is.
Yeah.
Because one day daddy ain't gonna be able to save you. One day daddy ain't gonna be able to fix stuff. So I need you to learn how to make good decisions to keep you out of stuff so I won't have to try to get you out of something. And so that situation I thought was so unfortunate. They down there don't have no gas and electric, but I guess they still had the receipt and the box of Timberlands. But you ain't got nothing to show for it. Well, I guess he gonna go to school carrying the box
and the receipt.
And look, let me tell you how even more stupid it was. You know how they take the tennis shoes and they throw it up on the line, up on the like the telephone line.
Yeah, the gang thing.
So he gonna take his old tennis shoes, throw that up there, showing off, and so now he really don't have nothing to wear like that. And to me, I thought that was. See, too many people are trying to live above their means, trying to please people that don't even like them. And we have to learn about when you know yourself, you ain't trying to go out your way to impress everybody living above your means. We have to learn how to prioritize. I used to tell my guys, I said, if your system and your rims cost more than your car, that's a problem. If your car costs more than your house, that's a problem. You know, and so I'm trying to give them the bare minimum of how we should prioritize with different things, because a lot of times, man, they don't really get it. Like a lot of people, they always talk about, oh, I want to be the boss. I want to be the boss. Well, you have to learn how to be a good follower before you can be a good leader. I heard some people talking. I actually heard this man talking about. He was just like, if you are not being a leader, then you're not doing nothing. And I'm like, but you don't start out a leader. Your decision is who to actually follow. Like I tell some guys, don't worry about, it's not wrong to be a copycat. Just know what cat to copy.
Ooh, there you go.
There you go.
You can be a copycat. Just learn which cat to copy. That's all.
Gina got her pen out now.
Huh?
Gina got that pen. I see her right.
You know what? I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? When y'all do that, y'all encourage me, to be honest with you. You know, y'all, because actually sometimes it takes another eye to show you what's in you.
Yeah. Because to you just talking. You doing what you do. That's your weapon of choice. This. You know, God gave you the gift of the gab and you got it. That's me. God gave you the gift of the gab and I got it. You don't even know half the things that come out your mouth you say. But it's not fake. When I sit back with Gina and Cece, even when we at dinner, They use words in their context, Doc. They use big words. My wife's smart. She uses words. Gina uses words in their context. They're not showing off. And you ever hear somebody say, you sound like you talking like you're white. Maybe they talking like they read a damn book or something. Like they read a book. Gina speaks well. My wife speaks well. I apologize back to you, Doc. That's what it is, Doc. You speak.
I know some what I call educated fools. I know some people. I know some people that I know on the streets. I know a brother that sells oils. He don't have no degree. He don't have no big lavish palace he living in. Man, but this brother is so educated. See, it's a difference from just being, let's say, educated and then being able to implement it into wisdom. So you can have a degree and you can be, just like I said, an educated fool. I've seen some people run rings around people who had degrees. Melvin didn't have no degree, but he was one of the smartest men that I actually had the opportunity to be around. He was a genius. He remembered all of the numbers when he was playing the numbers, when he would do the numbers. He remembered them by memory. They said he had a photogenic memory. He taught himself Spanish in prison. He took the bar himself in prison. He studied law. He helped a lot of brothers with their cases. He actually did what his first lawyer couldn't do. He took his own case and gave the time back. They had given him 35 years. He came back defending himself. And you know what? And it was so wild because he came into the courtroom. He had on some sandals, and he had on just a linen shirt. And you know what? And the judge said, "You didn't have no more respect to come in my courtroom with those sandals and that linen shirt." He said, "Well, Jesus wore sandals."
Is this true?
Jesus wore, like the linen top. He said, "I don't feel I'm no better than Jesus." I love this statement. And so you got people that say, about being a boss. And I'm like, but everybody can't be a boss. You have to learn how to lead. I don't want to follow you if you have not done anything. See, I tell people I don't mind constructive criticism, but it has to come from somebody who has constructed something before. If you have never constructed anything, how can you give me constructive criticism and you have not accomplished anything yourself? And it don't have to be a degree. Because to be honest with you, the only time that I'm really on that, I want you to call me Dr. Ted, that's when I go to those colleges where them people make you call them professor. Where they make you call them doctor this and doctor that. The reason that is because I want them to know, yes, I did the work to earn this too, man. I did the work to earn.
Hands up. Hands up. Hands up.
But when I run into the little homies down Lexington Market and I'm hollering at them, or like sometimes when the young cats would see me and Lil Melvin going down at Moe's eating, and they would come and pay for our dinner. And they say, "Big homie," and they say, and they say, "Big brother," or they say, "Brother Ted," man, all of that is my title. You live by the degree, you die by the degree. I don't put the emphasis on it because I know it's people out there that are way smarter than me who don't have that piece of paper. So that piece of paper don't define your wealth. But it shows a level of discipline for people and for places that feel that you may not have discipline, and so we don't have to respect if you don't have discipline. Because really, to be able to just get your high school diploma, it just shows that you had discipline to finish.
Right.
Because some people, it wasn't that they wasn't smart. They may have had to stop to take care of mama who got sick. Another person had to quit, couldn't go to college because he had a child. And he wanted to stay home and do the right thing and take care of their children. You know, and so we have to stop putting it in the box like some people are better because they have a bigger bank account, or because of, you know, saying they was fortunate enough or blessed to get a degree. You got to start looking at it as your blessing and stop looking at it like it puts you on a pedestal to look down on other people. Because really, you don't start learning until you start figuring out how much you don't know. They said that that's the basis of wisdom. When you start to realize how vast this universe is and how much you don't know. The person who feel he know everything, that's showing me you don't know.
Yes.
That's why I'm telling you, I thank God for the older men who allowed me to go with them when they was getting ready to fix a pipe. So I know how to do a little bit of plumbing if I got to. And take that solder iron and, you know, and put it around the pipe and to take that, you know, brush and brush it off and then heat it up and put the flex tape on. You see, the thing is that, you know, I ain't no better. I would love that. I ain't no better. You know, I will get down there and do them breaks in a minute. I show my sons, I make them watch me. I jack that car up and I'm telling them, you know, okay, then this is something that you don't get. I put the tire underneath the car while I'm changing it. And I said, just in case, I put the flat tire underneath the car, just in case, because if the jack falls, it don't crush you.
My father's move.
And so, you know, and so we have to, you know, to really teach that. And so, just getting back to what you were talking about with the Haitians, the only problem that I had is if that was Canadians coming from Canada into America, they into the United States, you would not have seen that scene of people on horses whipping them. What they should have done is built a barrier from the one place that they were crossing over the water. They could have built a barrier right there. And I mean, the military can come in and build a bridge. They have this actually contraption that folds out into a bridge.
It's a bridge. Yeah. I've seen that before.
It just, I mean, I'm saying literally, you have after a bridge is washed away, they have something that in 15 minutes, a bridge can be there and then they secure it. It just folds out. You can't tell me they don't have the technology to put a barrier up in the one place where they crossing, and tell them that they have to go to the proper channels to be able to cross so that they can actually file the paperwork seeking asylum. Now that's the way that you do it. But to me, to have these people on the horses and allow them with whips, one man was already there. He crossed over to purchase diapers and baby milk for his baby. And when he was crossing back, that's the one that they wouldn't let by. And he was just like, I'm trying to get, he said, I was already here. But it was like they had a vendetta about, nah, I ain't letting you go. I'm not letting you go. And see, and it just kind of bothers me to see that image, because to me, it seems like we still dealing with that skin tone. It seems like, I mean, it seems like, you know, it has been a little easier at times for people who have been lighter. And then the ones who have been the darkest, they've had the hardest time. And I mean, I think that we have to do better, you know, in this country, and better by, you know, our people, and better by the people who have seen this as the pursuit of happiness, the land of the free. It bothers me that we only equal up 16% of people of color in this country, but we equal over half of the people in prison. And more people, more white people actually go, they actually get arrested, but more black people go to jail. And I'm talking about for the same crimes. I'm talking about for the same crimes. I mean, and so, you know, we have to really, you know, do better. And I'm starting out because I want to teach my children first. I want to start in my own house. But then we're going to have to mentor our children's friends. We're going to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, actually, it's so unfortunate because they say over 84% of children now are born out of wedlock. But they are saying around 80% of them are now committing crimes. So if you look at, you know, we have to see a better structure. And see, some people just say, well, I don't care, you know, I'm gonna be there and this, that, and the third. I'm just like, yeah, but our children need to see healthy relationships. They don't need to just see you there if you're gonna abuse mommy, if you're gonna put your hands on her the wrong way, if you're gonna call her everything but a child of God. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's just how that is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so we have, I mean, those numbers are just too close. Those numbers are too close. You're talking about over 80%, you know what I'm saying, you know, are becoming in the judicial system in some kind of way, but you're also talking about over 80% now. And those numbers have fluctuated throughout the years. Because, and I need to get the numbers of what it was, let's say back in the 50s, in the 60s, you know, and as far as with that, so to me, you know, when I see certain things, I really feel we could do better. You know, and so I know, you know, when people were saying, you know, go back and, you know, and I kind of get it because they were actually doing something that was not legal, trying to cross it because we got borders for you to come through, you know, and so I get that part. The part that I just had is that it would have made more sense to seal that area off and inform them that they have to go to the proper entrances, as opposed to getting, let's say, 10 white men on horses with whips, because that sends a bad message and image to the world. That was on the world stage. The picture that if you had it black and white, you would not be able to tell if it was slavery or if it was yesterday.
Right.
And I think that's the problem that I have, meaning that, you know what, they have not been doing that with anybody else. Why do they think it's okay for a person of color? And that's where my issue is. My stand is not saying I think they need to cross. We just need to let everybody in and this, but you are making room for over 85,000 Afghanistans, you know. And but you won't let 12,000 Haitians who have had their president assassinated, and they just had an earthquake where they don't even know if they can get electricity to the entire city for almost another year. People are bathing in buckets. And I know some because I did work over there in one of the roughest townships in Haiti. So if it was rough before the earthquake, I can only imagine what it is. And so my thing is that, you know, we have to really, I mean, and to be honest with you, that message should come all the way from the top. I don't want you to just say how horrifying it is to see this. I want you to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, everybody out there, these are topics and stuff that we discuss on Simply Us. This is why we're here. And what you want to do is get some information. I asked Doc this, and I made sure to give you my format because I wanted to know. I don't have to agree with Doc. We don't have to agree with each other. Gina doesn't have to agree with CC. We all have opinions, but we need to learn. What I thought, I saw one image one way, and because I'm so overwhelmed with how everybody is treating President-elect Biden about this Afghanistan war. It just cuts through me like a knife that we supposed to go back over there and we owe them people something. We don't owe them nothing. We gave them 20 years. We don't owe them another damn day. That's my opinion. We don't owe them nothing. I asked Doc about that. Doc told me, and he had a good opinion. I think that I don't want another 30,000 people running up in here taking 30,000 more jobs. But Doc said it's not so much how the situation is, it's how it was handled.
Right.
And he said something I didn't think about. Doc said something. He said, well, you could build a wall or something like that. First thing I think about, Trump built all this wall that didn't work. We can't keep building walls that don't work. And then Doc came up with something. Because I didn't talk, I didn't jump in there because I kept listening. He said right there, I picture again. It's like a border right there. It's only a small area that they're crossing. You just can't walk across the Chesapeake Bay. You got to find a low area. If you ever watch Westerns and stuff, you got to find a crossing for the cattle. And he said, let's take them downstream. You may have to walk 10 miles to get to this one little area that they can cross. And they were crossing in that one area. And that was heavy, but Doc said, I can stop this one area in a day, more or less an hour. Now, all these people can't go find another way to cross. Maybe 5 or 10 of them can, but not 12,000.
Right.
So they could have stopped this. It was easier to ride them down with horses. Now I see. And like Doc said something else. It's on a world stage. It doesn't look good. It's another black eye. It's another black eye, even though they think we should save the world. I want to say something. This is my time. First of all, Doc, awesome. Doc came and he told us he had till 12 o'clock today. He had something to do. We really did good. We get Doc in there.
Yeah,
so
we good.
Learn.
We good. Now I ain't going nowhere yet.
Well, there we go, Doc. Well,
so
I wanted to get that in.
Roll with this.
There you go. So I wanted to say this. I wanted to say this about people out there that's getting their own picture out of something they see. That's drawing your own conclusion before you do any of the work. They come up with an answer before you really even heard my question. I listen to them out there, you know what I mean? They sing all these songs and stuff, don't even know. They don't know where the Old York and McCain beef started from. They don't have a clue. Hatfields and McCoy's been fighting all their life. And then I watched on the Western the other day, it came from a dance, and it's always about a girl. Always about a girl. The Hatfield guy was messing with the McCoy. They were in love. There wasn't no beef. They were in love. This is where this murder, the longest growing feud in the history of the world, came from. A boy and a girl from two separate families were in love.
Right.
So when y'all go over there, y'all start singing these songs, up today, down tomorrow, nothing to it but to do it. Oh, it sounds real slick. But that song is from the penitentiary. 5th floor annex, 530 feet on the floor. It's called The Program. You want to know why I know? Because I was in the program. 5th floor annex, Maryland State Penitentiary, feet on the floor. Was I locked up in the penitentiary? No. I've never did a bit in the penitentiary. But when they fight, so that y'all know over there, you snitches that run around and tell, I wasn't no snitch. But when you get over there, you go over and say, I told on these people, and they say they're going to put me someplace else. Yeah, they do put you someplace else the first 1 or 2 years. But 3 or 4 years down the line, they got so many people beefing, so many Crips and Bloods beefing, so many Muslims beefing with this and stuff like that. You just one more person. So what they do is they start doing overnights. When I was in jail last time, over city jail, the population was so immense that until they could process and put us where we at, we start doing overnights. So I started doing overnights in the penitentiary. They put me on. I had attempt murder. I bangs guns. You robbed me. I bang that gun. Anyway, we was doing overnights in the penitentiary, and that's what the 5th floor annex was. 530 feet on the floor. They don't care. They put you wherever they need you for that. If I was a chump right there, anything could have happened to me in those month and a half that I was doing overnights. But when y'all go off and start singing these folk songs and stuff, I know it sounds good for your resume. I know you think you're real cool when you say, you know, I'm from West Side, I'm West Side certified. Jack, ain't nothing slick about being West Side certified. You put some work in to be West Side certified. You couldn't go to the parties we went to. You couldn't have done it, man. You couldn't have done it. So a lot of y'all just jumping on board. I jumped on board and I had an opinion of the Haitians over there. Man, that's enough of them coming over there. We just now got rid of Afghanistan. We got rid of this. Donald Trump. I mean, the good old boys. I never agree with Donald Trump, but I didn't want 5 million Mexicans back in here neither. I agree with them. Put up a damn wall. Put up some damn horses. Get some whips. Run their dumb ass down. But it was never put to me or explained to me the way Doctor did. Dr. Ted said, it's just the way you did it. It ain't what you did. He said he ain't got no problem with them telling them to go back. He think they should go back. But you wouldn't have ran the Canadians down on a horse. Dr. Ted said we weren't slaves. We were prisoners of war. Yes. We were taken from someplace. We were held against our religion, held against where we wanted to be, beaten, abused, raped, molested, and abandoned, breaking our family structure. All these things happen to us. That's not slavery. It makes you a prisoner of war. If y'all got anything else out of Doc's presentation, our history starts with slavery. It can't be the first damn thing we did. We wasn't born slaves.
Right.
Tarzan swings through the trees. This one wonderful man, this one Caucasian man, go over there and beat up the whole damn village of Suru warriors, running 10 miles uphill in the rain.
That's right.
For breakfast. And Tarzan went over there and beat up the whole village of 500 to 1,000 of them.
By himself.
And talked to the animals.
Talk to
the animals. You feel me? Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And you know that we get brainwashed into stuff. My favorite picture to watch every day was Tarzan. Batman, you really didn't get away with it, Batman. Batman, you didn't beat up the Joker and 500 people. You couldn't have done that, Batman. But I watched Pow, Oof, Zowie, great jumping snowballs, Batman. That was what I ran home for. It's brainwashed. Sometimes get some information and learn. I saw Doc's picture of a decade ago or 100 years ago when they were beat on horseback. And this is still going on today. And all I saw was, I don't want anybody else coming over here taking any more of these jobs. And the picture that Doc put over there on his Facebook page for us to view had nothing to do with what I saw. I painted my own opinion. I painted my own picture. I got my own opinion of it before I did any research on it, before I put any thought into it. So I asked the person who put it up there. He changed my opinion. He changed my opinion because I asked, because I did some research. All I know is what I saw. Up to Date, Down Tomorrow, the program is not just a folk song, y'all. Up to Date, Down Tomorrow is what it is. You can be up to date and then you down tomorrow. When you in that 5:30 feet on the floor program at 5:30 in the morning, you got that ass out of the bed. 5:30, your feet had to hit the floor, even though I wasn't locked up in that program. At 5:30, I had to get out that bed like anybody else. Or guess what? The boy Ted was running the program when I was there. Your namesake. It was his job to beat you. He was the lieutenant on that program when I was there. Man, I'm tired. Ted, they would say, all right, 5:30 feet on the floor. He said again, you slow, man, I'm tired. He come over there, give you a few body shots. If your feet didn't touch that floor, if you was too slow, Ted dug in them ribs. So I seen people get their ribs dug in once or twice. Guess what? They said, well, Party, you ain't really, you ain't with the program, so you don't have to do that. I wasn't going to find out. I swung my goddamn feet on that floor at 5:30. So Ted didn't give me the body blows. You feel me? Sometimes you got to learn from somebody else. Watch and see if you can learn. Dr. Ted, thank you for that.
You're
Before
welcome.
we let everybody else, before I finish with this, Gina Lee, any comment on that topic?
I agree with him. I mean, what were they sending them back to? You know, like he said, this is a country that's been ravaged. You know, they've had floods, they've had earthquakes. You know, their government is in a shambles. What are they going back to? You know, but this country can send airplanes to bring thousands and thousands of Afghanistans to our country and make sure that they have safe passage by the military. Make sure that they have safe passage, you know, but you can't do that for people of color. You know, that this is, it's hateful, you know, and I really, like Doc said, it really gives you a feeling of what went on hundreds of years ago to us. It's the same thing. When I saw those men on those horses, I felt like they used to call them the slave patrols.
Right.
That used to go out and hunt down the runaway slaves. And you were lucky if you got back to the plantation alive. Because if they caught you, they more or less would beat you and drag you to a point where you almost weren't living. So, you know, this is what I saw. This is how I felt when I saw the pictures of the men on the horses. Because you surely didn't do that to the Afghanistans that you were trying to save, or the Americans that you were told 19 weeks before you made the withdrawal, we're leaving and we want you to come back, and they would not come. But you expect our servicemen to risk their lives to continue to go back and forth to get you because you refuse to leave. So now you see that the Taliban is taking back over. Now you want to leave.
Come get me. Help.
Right.
You know, so the military now has to risk their lives to go get you. And you had plenty, 6 months. 6 months, they told you, we're leaving. And y'all best to be ready. You know, what I believe, if it had been 5-6 ships of French people coming over here, they'd have opened the borders. They'd have been like, welcome to America.
And you'd have never heard nothing about it.
Nothing about it.
Bring some croissants with you.
Right.
Yeah. Vive la France.
There you
Vive
go.
la France.
Some French fries.
Yeah. Bring them on. Open the doors. Shoot, what hotel y'all want to stay in?
Yeah.
Good points, Gina.
You know?
CC, opinion?
I mean, when I saw those, first of all, the images were very disturbing to me. They were very disturbing to me because I felt like I was in a time warp. I felt like we had stepped back in time when I saw that, because just like Doc said, had it not been for the fact that the images were in color, we could have been talking about something that happened in the 1800s or so. So I was very disturbed by it. And I think that for a country that prides itself on all of these humanitarian efforts, where was the humanity in that? You know, these were not people who were just coming here for the hell of it. You know, like we said, their country has been ravaged. They have no other place to go. And do I feel like they should follow protocol and there's a process that they should follow? Absolutely. But I also feel like in the interest of humanity, in the interest of being humanitarians on the world stage, which we claim we are, then we could have provided some minimal accommodations for them where they were until they were able to go through with that process, which is also a lengthy process, But I when I saw that the image of the man on the horse beating him, I'm like, how dare you? You know what I'm saying? Because it's another form of not only being prejudiced, but it's colorism as well, because the darker the person, the worse the treatment. Mexicans are considered people of color as well, but they set up some refugee camps. They sent the National Guard down there to make sure they had water, even though there was still complaints, and the situation was not ideal, but it was better than what they provided for these Haitians. And I just don't think that it sends a good message to our children. I don't think it sends a good message. I don't think that it paints us in a positive light on the world stage. And I don't understand and agree with the fact that you can say we're going to do an investigation and these gentlemen, and I use that word very loosely, will be put on administrative duty. I mean, who should we believe? Your report or our lying eyes? We saw it. We know it happened. You know what I'm saying? So now the question is not whether it happened. The question is, what are you going to do about it?
Okay. Let's wind this up before we get Doc to give us our closing thoughts. Here's some opinions and stuff that we had about this topic. This was a really good topic. I thank you all for starting this off. Some things that I want to hark on. Do your research on some of these situations and circumstances. Do your research on this. Maybe you're me. Maybe you can have an opinion, a strong opinion, and can look back and say, Doc, my opinion was wrong. I changed my mind. Blessed is the child that can say they were wrong. Blessed is the child that can say they're wrong. What did Doc say? If you want to be smart, first you got to own up to the fact that there's some stuff you don't know. Right. The only way you can go forth is first start here. Well, that goes one of the, you have to go back, take baby steps. You got to take the first step. The path to 10,000 miles is one step. You know what I mean? First, I saw one picture, and all I have in my heart is I'm become a Biden fan. Because they're hard on this man. They figured out everything that Biden is doing wrong, and I don't see where he's doing that bad a job. Mm-hmm. And I just listen to people talking stuff. He's dealing with stuff from Obama. He's dealing with baggage from presidencies 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. Come up and make a change just that fast. So first you have to be able to look at the whole picture and see. I saw Doc posted that, so I didn't go off and sneak around. I came up to Doc and I said, Doc, I saw the picture that you posted, and I looked at it and stuff like that. I got a lot of respect for you, but I don't see where we need any more of them Haitians in there. I don't agree, Doc. Whatever they had to do, he told them to go back. They didn't just turn around. So I had my opinion. So I asked, and when he explained it to me, and I opened up my heart and opened my damn ears, there's a small area right there that could have been boarded up. You want to be anal about it? Put barbed wire over there. Put a landmine right there. Tell them you step over there, you're gonna blow up and blow up that area. There's a lot of things you could have did instead of keep letting them trickle over there and beat them, trickle over there and beat them, trickle over there and beat them. It probably was a damn game to them.
Yeah.
I've been both, y'all. Cece, no, I've lived in these penal institutions. I retired from the penal system. You call Clifton T. Perkins whatever you want, a hospital. It's a criminally insane jail. So I know what it's like to be the CEO. You know what I mean? I know what it's like to be an inmate. Ain't nothing you can tell me about how them chumps used to try to talk to me. In Hagerstown, in case anybody else locked up, shout out to Dre and them over there at Lips. If anybody may be listening, cut across that grass if you want. Be out Hagerstown to cut across that pretty grass. Hagerstown is 76% of the people that work in Hagerstown live in Hagerstown.
Right.
People in that jail, 76% of the people that work in Hagerstown live in Hagerstown. You beefing with a guard on day shift, their brother is on evening, and their father's on night shift.
Mm-hmm.
Cousins on all 3 shifts. When they say hit B9, come out swinging, because they coming in swinging. Don't Doc say don't tell me about the penal system, because I lived that penal system. I know it. You go over and try to tell me about all you need to do is get yourself together to get off drugs. It ain't easy as that. I mean, what was your drug of choice? I ain't never did this, but I did a lot of reading stuff. You don't know what it's like to be on dope. You don't know what it's like to be sick. You ain't never shit yourself. You don't know. You can't tell me. Mm-hmm. Doc said, you know what I mean? When I get over there, I make them call me a doctor when I'm over there at that institute, because I put the work in to become a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna call all them Billy Jim Bob and them doctors, you gonna call me that too. But except for that, when I'm on North Pulaski, when I'm on Emerson and Bryce, I ain't gotta be Doc, I'm Ted. When you come to my cookout, Doc wears suits and tuxedos. Come to my cookout, he got on a sweatsuit, don't he? You never know Doc has got a PhD at my cookouts. Him and his family, his wife, little short lady, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, powerful as hell. Always laughing and smiling, but I heard one of the kids do something wrong. She said, sit down. You hear me? I don't know. They must have did it a couple times for you. So she said, sit down. And that was probably the good son. That was the chef. Could have been any of them. Real talk, because I'm saying they regular families. That's what they're saying. They regular people. You get what I'm saying? But they raising their family. They're not just this person with this degree, this doctor. They got the same kind of problems that we have. I'm going to try to teach your child not to kill my child.
Right.
Because your child be jealous of the work that I did. So all this work I did is for nothing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? She tells you, God didn't give me a child. I happen not to be a mother. But I'm a mother to more parents, to more children than you'll ever be to your child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's her nephew. Her nephew don't know this. That's his aunt. So pick me up every day, take me to camp. It's his mother to him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People don't understand these situations and circumstances that they plunged into. I got another situation put before me. What if you were the person that was over there being beat with the whip? I never saw it that way until talking to my pal. Shame on me. All I thought about is I don't want nobody else to get there first to get the car that I want on the lot.
You know what? It's funny. It's funny you say that. I just wanted to just share this one thing. I had to work with a lot of people that moved from New Orleans to Houston, and when Katrina hit, and they lost everything. And I was trying to make and then somebody was saying, well, why can't they just, get along with everybody? And I said, it's a transition and they've gone through a lot. But what I shared with them, and I said, all right, I said, you live in the Woodlawn area, right? I said, now let's say if you usually go to Security Mall and you normally go to Windsor Inn to get a crab cake, and you go to Dimples, you know what I'm saying, to get your cheese fries or whatever the situation is. And I said, you went to Woodlawn High School, and the whole nine. I said, now imagine some catastrophe has destroyed all of that. So everybody that you see, your mailman, you do not have a connection with him no more. The girl that you used to speak to and talk to at McDonald's, the dude who used to say 20 minutes, your food will be ready at Windsor Inn. And all of these different people and every last friend that you knew, that you grew up with. Now imagine all of that gone. All of your pictures, your wedding pictures, all of your furniture, all of your mother's furniture, all of this, everything is gone. And you got a bag. And you have to now try to find where you can lay your head at. And you don't have no money. And so now a person that had a job and that used to do good things and all this and that, and now it look like we begging wherever we go because we need. I said, that's what they had to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing the Haitians had to deal with. They lost everything. And I'm saying so people have to see it from a total different perspective. My thing wasn't saying we shouldn't have no borders. My thing is that you should treat everybody the same. Because I really feel if you're going to whip the Haitians, whip them Canadians, whip them Italians that came in here, whip with everybody that come over here wrong, whip them too.
Yeah.
Whip them.
Yeah.
But don't pick and select
Who you gonna be?
feel ain't worthy enough to treat with dignity. That's the only part that bothers me. I don't like that they got in medical books that when women are having babies, that black women can endure more pain. And that's
What?
in medical books to this day, right now.
To
saying
this day,
they can
yes.
take more pain than other races.
Yep.
So they may not need the epidural. Make them ask for it, and then if you go past a certain time, they won't give it to you.
And believe you me, they try to make sure they do everything not to give it to you, even if you ask for it.
If you don't have a good insurance, they're not trying to give you nothing extra than you can pay for. So that's the only thing that bothers me with that. Don't pick and select people you feel ain't worthy to get a certain type of treatment. If you're going to whip one, whip them all.
Right.
If you're not going to whip one,
Don't whip anybody.
That's right.
put them on a plane, send them back in dignity if that's how you feel you're going to do.
Right.
So my beef wasn't really with Biden, but he does have a platform to speak out because it's under his watch now.
Right.
See, most of them people, all that stuff initially that was put in place was Trump stuff. That was his foolishness, and we know how he feel about people of color. But the problem is that now that this is happening, people expect much higher from Biden than they do Trump. That's like two different planets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem is. People expecting for him to, I think they put too many high expectations on him, to be honest with you, because he a good man, but he ain't Jesus.
Right.
You just got to do the best you can. But if something is going to be allowed to happen to one group, do it to all of them.
Right.
And if you're not going to do it to all of them, then don't do it to none.
Hey y'all, I want y'all to know we talk about a lot of topics. Doc, that's a good way to get us started. I want y'all to look back and see that some of these topics are time consuming. Some of them are time consuming. We don't plan on being an hour and 15 minutes with Doc's topic. We don't plan on that. But if you didn't get anything out of that, then you can officially pronounce yourself dead. That was a topic that needed to be heard and needed to be said.
So true.
You know, that needed to be said. You know, that was a really good topic, and I'm glad to be a participant in it and to be then learn from it. Chad's so damn tall, you look like the fan get ready to hit you, Jack. I almost hit you in the head, Jack. I wouldn't want to be tall. Except for basketball, I wouldn't want to be tall for all the money in the world. Hey Ted, thank you very much for your topic. What's your plan today? What world you got saved today?
I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna be right here.
Okay, let's move right along, y'all. Thank you. Hey, we move right along to Gina, Rosanna, Dana, Anna. Thank you for waiting with your topic, Gina. It's simply us. What's your topic today? Let's talk.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm talking about today that FEMA is giving $9,000 for COVID funerals. And I'm going to tell you how to apply for that. So the federal...
First of all, you want to apply for it? Don't get the damn shot, you damn fool. That funeral will be yours, you damn idiots.
There you go. So the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, launched a new program in April to provide financial assistance for funeral expenses related to COVID-19 deaths. So under the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act and the American Rescue Plan Act, individuals who paid for a funeral as a result of the death by COVID-19 could receive up to $9,000 in reimbursement. Though submissions opened 5 months ago, FEMA has not set a deadline to apply. So at FEMA, our mission is to help people before, during, and after disasters. So they say the COVID-19 pandemic has caused immense grief for so many people, and they cannot change what has happened, but they affirm that their commitment to help with funeral and burial expenses for families that they did not anticipate having to spend money on. So individuals qualify for assistance if they are a U.S. citizen, a non-citizen national, or a qualified immigrant who paid for a COVID funeral after January 20th, 2020. The deceased does not have to be a U.S. citizen, but their death did have to occur in the U.S. So, or its territories or the District of Columbia. Now, applications are only accepted over the phone and can be made by calling the FEMA COVID-19 Funeral Assistance Line at 844-684-6333 between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. There's also a text telephone line at 800-462-7585, and multilingual services are available. So FEMA will require specific documentation to prove the reimbursement, including an official death certificate that attributes the death directly or indirectly to COVID-19, and records of the funeral expenses, including receipts or a contracted funeral bill that includes the applicant's name and the deceased name, as well as the total expenses and the dates they happened. An applicant can apply for multiple deceased individuals, but will only receive a maximum of $35,500 per application. If more than one person contributed toward a funeral, they should file under a single application, and the application, they should put themselves as co-applicant. Okay? Individuals are advised not to disclose information about the deceased, such as their name, birth date, and social security number, to unsolicited telephone calls or emails from people claiming to be federal employees, because we know about these scammers. And FEMA has warned about the scams associated with the financial assistance and said the agency will not contact any individual unless they have applied for assistance or directly contacted the agency first. So if you have questions or concerns, they can be addressed through the FEMA hotline, helpline at 800-621-3362. That's 800-621-3362. Now, the agency recommends gathering all of the necessary materials before applying to help ensure it's processed in a timely manner. And most applications are accepted in fewer than 30 days. So once approved, individuals may receive a check by mail or direct deposit, depending on which one they choose. And FEMA plans to communicate a specific deadline for these COVID-19 funeral assistance funds once it has been established. So there have been more than 679,000 COVID deaths in the United States between January 20th, 2020 and September 21st, 2021. And that's according to the New York Times. So these funds are available. And, if you need me to repeat the phone numbers, let me know. I'll put it down in the comments so you can see it after the podcast
What's the
is
number
over.
again, Jane? I'm gonna put it up.
Oh, okay. The number for assistance is 844-684-6333. And if you have questions,
684. Give me the last part again. I'm sorry.
that's all right. 684-6333.
Okay, got you.
Okay.
And that's the FEMA helpline.
They when I was gonna say they have a text line, because you know how hard it is sometimes to get through these lines by phone. So they have a text line also, which is 800 462 7585. And then if you have questions after that, then you can contact the help line at 800 621 3362.
800 621
621 3362. That's the helpline.
Okay.
Now, if you want to just save time and don't go through all of that writing and remembering the number, you dumbass go get the shot. Maybe you might live and don't need the FEMA fund for your funeral. Idiots. I apologize, Gina. God ain't finished with me yet.
So
I'm right with you.
Here are the numbers for anybody that may need this. And this is an important resource because these people that died from COVID, I mean, always, as our niece Lisa tells us, make sure you have some insurance. But, some of these people were young people, some people, I mean, these were just unexpected deaths. And I mean, I know you can never be fully prepared for death, but this came out of the blue and it rocked everybody's world, so this is important resources because some of these people don't know what they're going to do. And $35,000, that's an impressive number, especially coming from the government, who Social Security only give you $255 when somebody dies. So that's a really, that's a lot of money and can pay for a nice funeral. So, I mean, these are important resources, and we always try to make it our business to bring you these things when we find out about them. So that was a really good and important subject there, Gina.
Yeah, it's just to be clear, it's 9,000 per person. But if you had, say, unfortunately, there are families that have experienced more than one death in the family.
Right.
So they're saying that, that person that's applying has a cap of 35,000.
And even 9,000 per person, like I said, it's a far cry from $255. So
exactly,
at least you realistically put somebody away with $9,000. I mean,
because I was just reading an article just yesterday about a mother, and I posted it on Facebook because I just thought it was so sad. The fact that she was so, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think she was just so selfish because she would not. And this is the thing. She was 46 years old and she was a registered nurse. So she knew the impact of what COVID was doing to our society, to families, to individuals. She knew the ramifications of not being vaccinated. She knew, but she refused to get vaccinated because she believed all that misinformation that is on social media about the vaccine. Y'all out there, y'all been vaccinated. You were vaccinated when you were kids. You had the measles, mumps, rubella, diphtheria, and all of that when you were children. And they said they did mandate it. They said you had to have them in order to start school. Nobody raised an eyebrow. Everybody got the daggone vaccine and lived a happy life. You know, it doesn't make sense. This is what happens, and in my opinion, this again, my opinion, this is what happens when you give people too much leeway.
Absolutely.
To say, I won't, or I'm going against. Ain't nobody over there in China saying I'm going against nothing. Ain't nobody in North Korea saying I'm going against nothing, because they know if they do, they'll be locked up. No questions asked. But over here, like you say, we're trying to be humanitarian.
Absolutely.
Okay. But look, you let these people, say they won't do such and such. I have the right to say no. I have the right to say what my child wears a mask or not. But you don't have the right to my life.
Right. And some of these people are really doing this stuff just for no good reason, no good substantial reason anyway. They just doing it because they can. It's my freedom. It's my choice. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay unless your freedom and your choices start to infringe upon the rights and other people's choices, then that's when it becomes a problem. Just like you said, if you choose to die, you know what I'm saying? That's your choice. But don't choose to kill me because I'm not ready.
Exactly. Like I was saying over there in China, shoot, they even stopped their kids from playing video games during the week because they want them to focus on school.
Absolutely.
They actually made a law that is now in effect that these kids over in China cannot play a video game between Monday and Friday. And then on Saturday, you only have 1 hour to play video games.
And people often just a little bit on that people often talk about how much smarter Chinese children are than our children. They're not any smarter. They just apply themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, how smart can you expect your child to be if you never saw them come home and do no homework? You never helped them with homework. They sit in front of the TV and TikTok and YouTube and all this stuff all day long. How smart do you really expect them to be? They haven't applied themselves to anything that would make them smart,
And seeing these parents that's out here objecting to the vaccine and objecting to the mask and all this kind of stuff, this is the kind of thing they're teaching their children.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? To be rebellious against the things that can help you. Sure. Right. Question. I have no problem with people doing research and questioning the efficacy of all of these, vaccines or whatever. Research it. But once you have found the truth, accept it.
Absolutely.
But you know what? I would say this has been the perfect storm to have a Trump culture during a pandemic.
Yeah.
During an election year. This has been something that has been unprecedented, to happen with this type, because when the moment he politicized, he didn't even want to let people know he got it.
Right.
And people didn't have those special medicines and everything that he had. They were just dying. And I felt, actually, some people said that they were stupid. Some people felt bad for some of them. But I thought it was an atrocity that you had some that was on their deathbed saying fake news and they died in the hospital. And then you had others who were saying, I wish that I had taken the shot.
Right. And that just goes back to what you were saying about some people are not qualified to be leaders. You know what I'm saying? Because as a leader, you have a responsibility for the message that you send. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So if you know that you are in a position of influence where people listen to you, where people follow you, where people hang on your every word, then you have a duty and a responsibility to make sure that the message that you deliver is a responsible and well-researched one. You know, all of this drink bleach, take horse tranquilizers, and all of this foolishness that come out your mouth. You know that you have people that are actually hanging on your every word that are going to listen to this. So
Right.
everybody, you know, you got to be careful about who you follow.
Mm-hmm.
You're right about that. They didn't talk about people that actually did drink bleach. They ain't talk about that. They ain't
Absolutely.
talk
And you
about they ain't
know it
talk
was
about
plenty of them
some
that
of
did
those
it.
situations. You
Exactly.
know.
Yeah, the poison control uh agency said they were getting calls. They sure did. That they were getting calls of people that had actually tried to dilute some bleach and drink it. Yep. But then you got people now that's actually injecting themselves with horse tranquilizer, ivermectin. You
Mm-hmm.
know, going to a feed store and getting a horse tranquilizer and injecting themselves because some fool has told them that this is a remedy for COVID-19.
Right.
Absolutely. And we want to make it perfectly clear, everybody, because you know Facebook will be monitoring for all of this stuff about people putting out misinformation. What we're saying here is that this is false, that it does not work, that it is not a good idea. We are not advocating for anybody to try it because, first of all, it's stupid. And second of all, it does not work.
Yep. You know, like I
Yeah.
was talking about the mother with the nurse. She had two special needs children, and she died in August of this year. But she didn't think about your children,
And
and
you
she was
know,
a nurse,
and
This
And
just broke my heart.
you will be surprised about how common that is, Gina. Because I'm gonna tell you firsthand that I have a lot, you know, from coming from a background of such, I have a lot of friends who are in the healthcare community. And you will be told your jaw will be dropping on the ground to find out how many people in healthcare, nurses, doctors, and so forth, who take that same road. You know, and my fear is now that this vaccine is coming out and becoming is will soon be available for the children from age group of 5 to 12, that how many of these people will force that bad decision making on their children? You know,
Mm,
because the children don't have a choice. You got to do what your parents tell you. You know, so
right.
I feel bad for them because some of them won't get vaccinated because they got these parents that follow this crazy train of thought, and then they'll risk their children's lives and they don't even have a choice. You
Mm,
know, so I just, you know, we'll say a special prayer for them as well because I see that coming down the pike and it's going to definitely be an issue.
yep. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, that was a really good topic to get into, Gina. Let's just go right on into your next one. What's your next topic, Gina? Let's talk.
Okay. My next topic is kind of a local situation. Um, everybody knows, or I hope everybody knows, about the gallery at Harbor Place. At one time, the gallery at Harbor Place used to be just like the place to go. You could find anything you wanted to find at the gallery at Harbor Place. You could find your shoes, your jewelry. You could go get a snack, and just have a great time down there. You know, when I worked at the courthouse downtown, and when the gallery opened up, it was like nothing to us to walk down there for lunch, and just sometimes we would take our lunch with us and walk around and eat the lunch, just looking at window shopping because we ain't have a whole lot of money. Many of the things down there were too expensive. I mean, they had Coach stores. They had all kinds of, like little boutiques and things like that. So
Yeah, the
Harbor,
Disney store.
yes, indeed. Well, the gallery at Harbor Place will be closing its doors.
Wow.
Yep, I've read that.
Yep, the gallery at Harbor Place at the end of this year. One of the shop owners, she said she has no idea what she's going to do. She and maybe 5 other people are the only businesses left in the entire mall.
Wow, I haven't been down there in years, but I was about to
I
say
haven't either.
its popularity dropped off years ago.
And she was saying, a lot of the drop off came as a result of, well, of course, the issues that were going on downtown. It kind of lowered the number of people who were coming into the city to shop. A lot of people decided to shop online. So, many businesses suffered in that way. But then on top of that, you had the pandemic, which took it even further to the point where, she was saying she had to release all of her employees. And now she's running her business by herself.
Wow.
And like I said, she said she and 5 other businesses are the only ones that are still there. And, she's really perplexed as to what to do. She said she's, because the thing is, they haven't said, the owners of the building haven't said what they're going to do with the building. Because I don't know whether people were aware, but the upper floors, there are, I think it's 19 floors above where the stores were. And those floors housed the office spaces. So the office spaces have not been affected by this closing. In matter of fact, she said that they are doing renovations up there, and she doesn't understand why, renovations or some help couldn't have been provided to the store owners, on the bottom. So,
and it's a beautiful mall.
It is. I mean, with the fountains and if you recall, it had like 3 sets of escalators that went up, and they were clear glass and everything, so, she's like really upset about, because they haven't told them anything. They haven't given them any options except closing. That's it. They told them.
In this climate of what's happening today, I wouldn't want to be a business owner anywhere downtown, because downtown used to be like the mecca of the upper echelon, but now those businesses, the violence that's happening around the inner harbor and COVID and all of this stuff, and COVID has really shifted people a lot to shopping online, and but people like myself have become totally accustomed to it. I don't like going in stores. I'm like Gina, be a good neighbor and stay over there. So I'm really not the one for crowds these days. So, online shopping has become very popular. So I know that a lot of those businesses down there are really, really taking a hit. And I think that, and some of it may be due to, which has always been the case, mostly anything that you can buy around the harbor is grossly overpriced. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't help the situation any, that you could, the gallery. I remember my joke used to always be, you got to have at least $50 to buy a t-shirt when you walk in the gallery, So I'm sure that doesn't help the situation, but my heart goes out to business owners scrambling, trying to figure out what they're going to do next or what their next move is going to be. And at the end of the year was what I've read. And that's
Yeah.
right. That's a couple of months,
Yeah.
So.
And she was saying, like when they chose to come down there, she was like, this was prime real estate at the time, which I agree. I'm telling you, it used to be bustling. The Inner Harbor used to be, always crowds on the walkways and, all along the Inner Harbor, over there.
And I think part of the problem with those shops in that area, Gina, is the fact that, the pandemic taught us all that we have to learn to pivot, with our businesses. And I think that they have stayed in the time when that was such a bustling business community. And now they have to shift more towards the needs of the consumers. Those people that aren't shopping, those people that they are that they created their business to know at first to be their customers, those people aren't shopping in the area anymore. So who is shopping? Who's hanging? Who's around the area? You know what I'm saying? I always thought that that whole business district was a little color struck. But you got to be realistic about who your customer is now. You might have to get some Urban Outfitters down there. You might need you a Foot Locker. You know what I'm saying? You might need a Polak Johnny's or something down there. You got to shift towards who is actually spending the money.
And if you notice, even though they may be closing, and I'm sure the owners have a plan in mind, I'm sure. But if you notice over in Harbor East is coming up leaps and bounds. They are building condos, office space, parking lots, just overwhelming the East, over there by Broadway and Caroline Street Central, all of that is like the new quote unquote up and coming, So like you say, some shift has to be made, because what I believe they're looking at is residential more than walk in, walk out business.
Right.
They want people to buy and stay. They want to influence those, like you say, urbanites that want to live. I want to be able to say, I live in Fells Point, or I live by the water, or we can just walk to the fireworks, that kind of thing. So if that's what they're catering to, then that's what's going to happen. Any business like Barnes and Noble closed down, then I knew something was going to happen. I knew something was going to, as a result of all of the things that this city has gone through in these past, I'll say like maybe 5 years.
And I'm honestly speaking, I'm really surprised that it even took this long. I thought this would have been a conversation at least 3 years ago. But I just feel bad for, and even, the business owners. Sometimes you can't walk around with your head up your butt all the time. Sometimes you got to look at what's going on around you, because this just like the people that was warned in Afghanistan that we were leaving, and they decide to wait till now and holler for help. I'm by no means blaming the business owners, because some of this stuff is just a sign of the times and the way that things are. But when you start to see the writing on the wall, it's time for you to start working on plan B.
Right. Exactly. And I'm thankful in a way that has led me to this paparazzi business, for instance, to supplement my income. And I'm thankful for you guys, kind of partnering with me to push me to get out there. And I'm just so I guess just in awe of what you've done with your business. I mean, you have taken an idea and created, something that not only is it portable, but it's something that can be, shown and distributed without having a middleman if you don't want it. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So if
Right.
you want to uh, keep your kind of overhead, what you're doing or what we're doing is the way to go.
Right.
We got to start somewhere, and I'm just grateful to God that He's given us the platform to do it. And thank you to you and your husband for allowing me to be part of it. It's business out here, like you say, is hard enough,
Yes, it
but
is. Yes, it
but
is.
for at least we're in a business that can help us, sustain us for a while until maybe we want to move to another level. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
If we want
Absolutely.
to keep it where we are, we can. If we want to expand, we can. But it's good to know that people have confidence in you. And,
Yes, it is. Yes, it definitely is. I couldn't agree more, Gina. I couldn't agree more. And just like you said, in these times, these are difficult times for everybody.
mm-hmm.
So in these times, it means something for people to support you, for people to say, if it's no more than $5 or $15, to say, I believe in what you're doing and I'm gonna help you do it. So
There
it
you
means
go.
a lot. And everybody that's watching that has been a customer to Gina or to myself or to Party Marty's Moon Bounces, we thank you. We appreciate you. We
Amen.
realize that you
Amen.
could have spent your money anywhere.
Yeah.
So we are thankful and appreciative that you decided to spend it with us. We don't take it lightly, and you're a big deal to us. As my husband say, y'all the real MVPs, y'all the heroes,
There
you know.
you go.
So
There
we
you go.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we've been in here for a long time, Gina.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna give y'all one thing. I'm gonna give y'all one thing. I'm always pulling up the rear, but I got something for y'all today. Um, and just really quickly, I wanted to know what your opinion is on this one, Gina. But I'm talking about the Gabby Petito case. Now, I see Gina's face, but for those who are unaware, Gabby Petito was the young lady who went on this cross country adventure visiting national parks with her fiance, and he returned without her and didn't want to answer any questions from the police. Now, we all know that this is a wonderful person, so I'm going to tell y'all that Petito's remains were found Sunday in the undeveloped camping area in Bridgerton National Forest in Wyoming. She was reported missing by her family on September the 11th after her fiance, Brian Laundrie, returned home to Florida from the road trip without her on September the 1st. So, and there was evidence from a 911 call about a domestic dispute involving the two of them that shows the couple's volatile relationship. And the police later stopped the couple and released police documents and body cam footage that followed that day in Moab City. And officials, they got a call about the domestic thing, and their advice was for them to spend the night apart, and they kept it moving. And there were multiple accounts of witnesses who had seen Mr. Laundrie parked in a white van on August 26th at Grand Teton National Park, and no one appeared to be with him. And he claimed he was camping by himself for multiple days while Petito was back at their van working on social media posts. There was a couple that said that they picked him up. I think it was August 27th, in Colter Bay, Wyoming, which is not far from where her remains were found. And he offered them $200 to give him a ride right away before he even got in the car. And Mr. Laundrie is now a person of interest in this case. And he arrived at his parents' home in North Point, Florida 3 weeks ago and has not spoken to police about the case. And his family told police he left home with his backpack on September 14th and told them he was going to nearby Carlton Reserve to go backpacking, they have had an extensive search looking in the reserve for him. And they've been looking for him for the last 6 days as a person of interest. And they still have not found him. Now, the reason that I brought this case up was one, because it's all over the news. But two, it's just so ironic that this man could return from this trip without this young lady. Nobody's heard from her. Nobody knows where she is. Her social media, and she was an avid TikToker and social media influencer. All her social media went dark. And he came back and he was able to simply tell the police, I don't feel like talking about it. You know, had he been a beautiful person instead of a wonderful person, he would have talked about it, whether he wanted to or not. And he would have had to give somebody some answers. And BB said driving her car. You know, now that her body has been found and they have confirmed that it was a homicide, they are still considering him a person of interest. First of all, what the hell does that even mean? And secondly, like, call him what you would call us, a suspect in the murder of his girlfriend. And it's just so ironic that, like, when he was saying that he wasn't going to talk to the police, they was like, well, you know, we can't make him. I mean, if me and Gina go out in the woods and I come back and ain't no Gina, do you think and I tell them that I don't feel like talking about where Gina at, do you really think they going to go for that? Come on now.
He actually came home and mowed the lawn.
I mean, and then he was gone for 3 or 4 days before his parents even let the authorities know that they hadn't seen him. And then here's another thing. If I go missing after me and Gina came back from the trip and I didn't want to talk about where Gina was, and they come and knock on my mother's door and say, where's your daughter? And she say, oh, she's in the she at Gunpowder State Falls. Do you think they're going to spend 6 days on a word of my mother out there looking for me? And come on. Now, I guess it never occurred to anybody that his parents could be sending y'all on a wild goose chase, giving him a chance to get out of the country. So while y'all over there diving in the swamp and looking in the jungle and all of this for 6 days, how far do you think he could have gotten in 6 days? It just, these cases just get to me so bad, Gina, because the double standard is just unreal. And anybody who can with a straight face say that they don't see the disparities between when we're accused of something and when somebody of another race or nationality is accused of something, they need to really, really take those blinders off. Because had this been two beautiful people, this would have been a whole different scenario. First of all, whether you wanted to talk about it or not, you'd have talked. And they wouldn't have let you out. You wouldn't have had a chance to go anywhere, get out of their sight, because they'd have been watching you like a hawk, waiting for you to make one false move. And a word of your mother would mean absolutely nothing. I mean, if nobody in the world gonna cover for you, your parents gonna do it. Mm-hmm. You know, this girl was living with them and everything. So it just strikes me as odd that he can come back home without her. It's not like he lived in one place and she lived in another place, that he could come back home without her, and his explanation is simply that he don't want to talk about it. I mean, come on, give me a break.
The other thing is that they, like you say, the police had already stopped them because of a 911 call of assault in a gas station. You know, so they had already, and they said that I think he had the scratches on him that she had put on him. Okay, so you know, if that had been us, that one of us was going to jail.
Somebody was going to jail. Absolutely.
Somebody was going to jail that day.
And
no, we're not going to take you to a separate hotel for y'all to calm down.
Right. And their explanation and the explanation was that they didn't lock anybody up because they claimed to love each other. So they just they were engaged and they said that they love each other. So they just told them, you know, spend the night apart. Are you freaking kidding me right now?
I'm telling you. And
Are
even psychologists have said that they look, you know, the footage on the body camera, and they said that she even displayed the perfect syndrome of a battered person, you know. And so, you know, that's what you go down House of Ruth right now, a lot of the women will tell you they probably would have said the same thing because they're afraid.
Absolutely.
You know, so you know, it the whole thing, I'm up the head with it. I really am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that something happened to her, you know, but I really, honestly, they dropped the ball. They did.
On so many levels, because like I said, they got multiple accounts along this. I mean, they were traveling cross country visiting these state parks and stuff. They got multiple accounts of something not right with them. You know, one was at a restaurant, one was at the gas station. Now everybody, I mean, I don't know, and it's a sad state of affairs because it is the double standard exists, of course, but then it's just like battered women. You know what I'm saying? People that are missing women and children and stuff. It's like no protection, even when you come into contact with law enforcement and people can clearly see that you're in trouble. You know, no help, no help.
You know,
so I mean,
I looked at it this way too. The fact that they said that she was, I think, bipolar. So that psychological aspect should have told those officers right then and there, you know, that she had like mood swings. You know, they were saying, you know, 1 minute she would be all fine and dandy, and the next minute she would be enraged. So,
and the police even admitted that her behavior was bizarre at the time. You know what I'm saying? So that and that just goes back to something that we talk about often is the lack of training to deal with some of these situations that these officers have. I mean, this is if you felt like she was behaving oddly, or if he had even if she was the aggressor, if he was the one that had scratches on him, then I mean, hate to say it, and I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, she should have been arrested. If you had proof that she assaulted him, but you know, all of a sudden she gets the choice because to tell you, oh, we in love, so no, y'all don't lock nobody up. Come on.
No. And then, like I said, for him to go back to his parents' house, and then they said that he did not display any urgency to get away. You know, he mowed the lawn. He, I think, packed the vehicle with some other things, and, you know, repacked it. You know, nothing like urgent, like I got to get away or something like that.
And then I mean, sometimes law enforcement is supposed to be, in my opinion, trained to pick up on some of these clues. I mean, just the fact that he came back without her and he wasn't alarmed. He wasn't upset. He wasn't nothing. He was just like, oh yeah, well, we left together, but I'm back. She not, and I don't want to talk about it. That
And I
didn't
got her
stress
car.
anybody. Right, and I got her car. So if she was coming back, how was she getting back?
Right.
You had a vehicle because you knew that she wasn't coming back. You know what I'm saying? So like some of this stuff it don't take a rocket scientist to figure some of this stuff out. And I, my heart goes out to her parents and to her family, because in these situations and stuff, and everybody is innocent until proven guilty, we know. But some of this stuff is staring you smack dab in the face and you can't keep ignoring it.
Nope.
So I just thought that, and I mean, this is an ongoing developing story. So I'm sure we'll get more, as it goes along. But
and the parents are being harassed now too. That people are picketing outside of their house and everything. I mean, I'm not saying that they didn't cover up for him, because I believe they did. But I mean, it's just a sad situation all the way around.
It really is, but that's all I got for y'all. I just wanted to touch on that one real quick because I mean the double standard was so blatant that I just had to see what anybody else thought. I mean, sometimes
you're not alone.
Sometimes I'm like, am I crazy or is this crazy?
No, you're not crazy. You are not alone. Not alone on this one. And the other thing that really gets me is it's like the top of the news. The top of the first story they lead with on the news now. And I'm like, okay, what about all the other people who are missing?
Right.
What about I'm sure a mother right now is fed up with this darn case, and she ain't heard from her daughter in years.
Right. And it's so eye-opening, let me say, that when these young, wonderful, blonde-haired, blue eyes,
rich
people, when they go missing, it's the top of the news. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I can't give you a statistic or whatever, but every day I go somewhere and see a poster up, a billboard, a flyer in the supermarket of some young, beautiful person that's missing, that haven't been seen in so long that they have to do age progression. You know what I'm saying? And we never hear a word about it. We never hear a word about it locally. We never hear a word about it on the national stage. It's just one more bites the dust. You know what I'm saying? And it's so sad because everybody has somebody that loves them. Everybody has somebody that misses them. Every mother's heart aches when they don't know where their child is or what became of them, or if they dead or alive, if they hurt, if they need help. The emotion, the sentiment is the same, no matter if you got blonde hair and blue eyes or if you got nappy hair and brown eyes.
That's right.
The sentiment is exactly the same. So, I'm not saying that don't approach this with vigor and fervor and everything else, but, I think that, do the same for Keisha. You know what I'm saying? Do the same for Tamika. That's all.
There you go. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm about up the head with this. I really am.
Right. There was the same thing with Natalie Holloway. You know what I'm saying? I thought we would never, ever, ever hear the end of that one. You know what I'm saying? And just like I said, I'm not minimizing the grief of her family. You know what I'm saying? But, she wasn't the only one that went missing. If we, just like Doc said, lock them all up or let them all go. If we're gonna make a big deal when Gabby and them go missing, we gotta do the same for Keisha and Tanya.
There you go. 100%.
Right. So with that, that's what we're gonna leave y'all on that. Gina, we've been in here for 2 hours and 15 minutes. BB still hanging in there with us. We love you, BB. But we gonna stop holding y'all hostage, and we gonna let everybody get on with their day. But we certainly appreciate all of y'all being here, rocking and rolling with us, your comments, your supports for our businesses, and just your love in general. You know, we appreciate you. We love you guys, and we may see you for a special edition tomorrow of Spotlight on Black Businesses, and we may not. So, but stay tuned. We know y'all get those alerts when we do. So, if so, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And if not, then I guess we will see you Sunday on Who You With? Sports Talk with Party Marty. But until then, we want y'all to go out there and be great on purpose. Be somebody important. Be yourself. And you know, my thing is always a random act of kindness. If it's nothing but buy somebody a cup of coffee, or if you see a homeless person sitting outside McDonald's and you buy them a dollar cheeseburger, things that are little to you may mean the world to somebody else. It may change somebody's day. It may change somebody's life. It may change somebody's outlook on life.
Be a copycat, but know who to copy.
That's right. Know which cat to copy. So with that, Gina and I are going to get out of here, and we will see you when we see you, and we'll let you know when that'll be. Bye, everybody. We love y'all.
All right.